Hello everybody, and welcome back to part 2 of the LA Vinyl Digs. And before I get started, let me just say LA has some amazing record stores. I mean, big shock, right? They really do, and it's impossible to see all of them. It's impossible to spend money on all of them too in one trip. But you know, I managed to find the ones that looked interesting to me. I'm sure there's like probably a dozen more I didn't even hit, but what I did hit, I thought were great stores. Like this one I visited on the second or third day I was there, a place called Rockaway Records. I even managed to get this cool vinyl bag when I was shopping there. Rockaway Records, in the Silver Lake area of LA. A really great looking store. I wanted to photograph inside, but the owners and the people that worked there, they didn't look like they were too happy about that, so I wanted to score good stuff there, so I didn't want to upset them, so I kept the phone in my pocket while I was digging. But I pulled a fucking grail out of this place. A record I have been after since I joined the VC like 3-4 years ago. Finally scored it. It is Van Halen's Balance, the last studio album that was done with Sammy Hagar. This completes my Van Halen vinyl collection. I now have all of them, and this was the last one I was missing. I was missing this one. This is the last one on the list, and finally I got it. It's mine. And I paid too much for it, but it was worth it because I really am so happy to have scored. So I like this album too. A lot of people complain about it. The back of the insert is just lyrics. This is their photos. And it is on the Warner Brothers label. I'll take it out. There we go. I won't take the record out, but Warner Brothers label. Like I said, last studio album with Hagar, and I do like this album. I've had it on CD since the day it was released, and I still listen to it and still dig it. I even listen, when I put this on vinyl, I've never heard this on vinyl before. It sounds really good on vinyl. I listened to the whole thing and just was blown away. I even listened to the ballad song that's on here, which I normally skip over when I listen to it on CD, which is called Not Enough. I even listened to that song. And this was a huge find for me. And this record is in such good condition. I mean, a little bit of wear here on the cover. There's some ring wear, there's a little scratch in the cover there. But otherwise, this is in really good shape. And I'm so happy to have scored this. This was all that I was missing from my Van Halen vinyl collection, and to finally put an end to the Van Halen vinyl is just, that made the trip for me. For me, I mean, as you're going to see, a lot of records have made the trip for me, but this was one of them. I really dug this record. So glad I scored it. So, Balance from Van Halen, finally in the collection. This, I obviously didn't need it, but this looked so cool. A Japanese pressing of Duke from Genesis with the Obi strip here. Oh, this was such a good find. Such a good find. And it even has a picture of the guys on it, see? Really cool. It's a gatefold record, of course. And it came with the insert. But the insert, like all these Japanese pressings, is written in Japanese, and I can't read Japanese, so what's the point? But I wanted to make sure that it was included in the album, and it is. And it's on the Charisma label. There we go. I love the Charisma label. I just look at that label and just think Genesis. So Duke on the Charisma label, Japanese press. I don't have many, or I don't know if I have any Japanese pressings of Genesis records. I have the Japanese pressings of the Story of Genesis, and that has the Obi strip on it, but that's a compilation album. It's not a studio record. So I was real glad to score this because it's a studio album. And for some reason they made a difference. But it's nice to have Japanese press. Genesis is my favorite band. and I love collecting anything I could find for them on vinyl that I don't have already. So really nice to put this in the collection. This was a great find. It was 15 bucks, which is a lot for Duke, a used copy of Duke, but in a Japanese press, and it's in excellent condition. The record's so clean. To me, it was money well spent. And the last thing, the cheap thing I pulled out of that store for a couple of bucks, another Missing Persons 12-inch single, promo only, for the song Destination Unknown, backed with the song Walking in LA. And it's a white label promo from Capitol, as you can see. Really cool. It's from their first album, Spring Session M, which is actually a good record. I enjoy listening to that one a lot. I have a couple copies of it on vinyl. Del Bosio was just such a hot woman back in those days. God, did I have a crush on her. So anyway, that's the finds that I pulled from Rockaway Records. Such a great place, such a great place. Another record store I went to, probably the second or third day I was there. That was the second day I was there. A place in Sherman Oaks called Freak Beat Records. In fact, here's their bag. Right there, Freak Beat Records. Really cool place. I've been going there this is like my third vinyl trip in LA. I've been going there once a year for the last 3 years, and I always go to Freak Beat. Such a great store. The owners are really friendly, and my God, they must know every album ever recorded. Their knowledge of records and music and bands and pressing, rare pressings and whatever. I'm blown away by what they know. It's amazing. Because it was a couple days after Record Store Day, I got there on a Tuesday. Record Store Day was on Saturday. They had a big promotion for Record Store Day at that store because I saw it online because I follow them on Facebook too. So I'm sure by the time I went there on a Tuesday, all the cool stuff was already wiped out. So I only got 2 records from there, but they're good stuff. From the band Great White, the album Hooked. And that is a sexy cover. That woman on the cover, absolutely beautiful. It's a good looking cover. And I remember this album, because I actually was a Great White fan back in the day. Me and my buddy Dave actually saw them live like 3 times when they came to our area. And always enjoy their shows too. So I haven't seen them in a long time, but this is a hard album to find on vinyl. At least around here it is. This is the first time I've ever seen it in a store. So that's why I couldn't wait to score it. It came with the original insert. Good looking picture of the band. And the back is just your average lyrics. And it's on the Capitol Records label. Really good find, really good copy. It's in the original shrink, as you can see. Well, I guess hopefully you could see that. It's in the original shrink with the original insert. Real good, clean vinyl copy. In excellent shape. So this was a really good find. I'm really glad I pulled the trigger on this. I do like this band. There's still more records from them to collect that I don't have, but I have all my favorites, and to me that's almost enough. And glad I finally got this from Genesis. Is the bootleg You'll Love Us Live, which is basically a bootleg from the Duke tour in 1980. It doesn't give a venue name. All on one record. There we go. That's all we get for a label. I once saw this bootleg on vinyl back in the 80s, like late 80s. I must have been like 18 or 19 years old when I saw this in the store. But by that time, I didn't have a record player anymore. I was buying CDs, and I looked at it and stared at it for a long time, thinking maybe I should buy it, and then put it back, thinking, well, I'll come back later. I don't know why I did that, because I wasn't really listening to records anymore. I was buying CDs and just left it behind. I think I went back to the shop like the next day and it was gone, and I was like kicking myself like, damn it, I should have got it. Well, here it is, and so glad I finally corrected that. A really good bootleg from Genesis, a good tour too. The Duke tour, for a lot of Genesis fans, was the last time Genesis sounded like a progressive rock band, so I'm really glad I scored that bootleg finally, after leaving it behind so many times. The next store I visited was in the Highland Park area. I think that's what they called it. That or Echo Park, but I think it's Highland Park. Oh, it says it right here in the bag, Highland Park. And it was Gimme Gimme Records. There's their bag. And I really enjoyed this place. Small little record store, a little hole-in-the-wall place, but real clean inside. Some great albums on the walls. Really, really good used record selection. They had some really nice stuff there. Decent prices. The owner, I had a little chat with him talking about the VC as well, and he watches the VC videos, and you know, I gave him a link to my channel, and me and him were just talking shop, I guess you could say. And he seemed like a real nice guy, and I really dug his store. Nice vibe in that store. Really loved digging there. So these are the two records I pulled out of his store from Iron Maiden, Killers. I believe this is the first album. And I was missing this one. I didn't, out of all the early Iron Maiden albums, this was one I was missing. I mean, I did find it a couple times, but it was pretty beat up. I didn't like the condition. This seems to be, for a used record, this was in great condition. Just great condition. The album jacket, very, very light wear on it. Very light wear. That's what I liked about it. And the vinyl, very clean. And here's the custom label for it. It's just a really good looking record. So I'm glad to have finally scored this album. I've been without it for a long time. I mean, like I said, I found it a couple times, but it looked thrash, and they wanted like $25 for it. I didn't want to pay $25 for a thrash record. This was a little bit more. This was $30, but the condition is so good. I figured this is about as good as I'm going to find this album used. It's either that or buy a reissue, and I didn't want to buy a reissue, so there we go. Another album I pulled out here was Queen, The Miracle. That song, I Want It All, is on this album. I love that song. And that is one unusual album cover. And the back is just equally as weird, with all the eyeballs. Strange album. Strange choice for an album cover. Good picture of the band here on the insert. And lyrics on the back, no big deal. And I can't remember, yeah, custom Queen label. Nice find. Really good condition. I probably could have found this in any other record store where I live, but hey, I was there. It's a real clean copy. As you can see, there's no wear whatsoever on this album cover. Maybe a little bit in the corners, but otherwise a really, really good copy of this album. So really glad I pulled that record out of the store. Visiting Gimme Gimme was a lot of fun. Really laid back atmosphere in there, and it's always nice when you can talk to the owners and he's willing to talk, and he doesn't make it look like it's a hassle to speak to you or showing you kindness. So that was good. I had a good time there. In the same area, just about a couple minutes drive from Gimme Gimme, there's a little hole-in-the-wall store called Wombles In. And when you walk in the store, it's like visiting a little English boutique or something. It's like a little English shop. It has that taste of England in it. But the record selection in this place is amazing. Probably one of the best selections I've seen in all the stores I visit in LA, with the exception of Amoeba. For such a tiny little hole-in-the-wall place, there was some amazing records in there. Original UK pressings and foreign pressings, and a lot of foreign world music selection was really good in that store. And the guy who worked there, he wasn't the owner, but he just worked there. Was one of the nicest guys in the world. I mean, me and him talked for a long time, and I pulled another grail out of that store. Kind of pricey, but I knew I was never going to find this on vinyl anywhere. I had to pull the trigger, and it's Tom Petty's Full Moon Fever. This is a UK copy. This is the OG. This is not a repressing. This is the OG here. And it is an incredibly clean copy that is in excellent mint condition. UK first pressing. Oh my God. I've never heard this album sound so good. I knew this was on vinyl because I saw only a couple of people show it on the VC. And I always thought it'd be nice to own that, but that's an impossible record to find. And lo and behold, I found it. And look at, here's the insert. Love the artwork on the insert. That looks absolutely killer. Absolutely killer. There is the back with all the lyrics. This is also on a custom label. Decent looking label. This is not a Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers album. This is a solo record, Tom Petty. But oh my God, there's been great songs on this album. You know, of course, there's Free Fallin', I Won't Back Down, and Running Down a Dream. But there's also You're So Bad. This is a really good album. I was listening to this earlier today and was just enjoying the whole record. It was just such a great listen. I was so happy to score this. The record is so clean and it purrs like a kitten when you play it on the turntable. The jacket is in excellent shape. There's no wear on this jacket at all. This is just a great copy of this album on vinyl. And I mean, this, the Simple Minds, and the Van Halen Balance were like the three of the best finds I could find out of LA. I left that store as happy as can be. Absolutely love that store, Wombleton, and I pulled a grail out of it. The other record I pulled out of it was something I've never seen before. It's from Level 42, the early tapes, January and August of 1980. I don't even think any of the songs made a Level 42 album. These are really early recordings, demo recordings. Big collection of them. I was like really stoked to find this. My God, this is just a great find. And it is on, the label is called, it says Level Records. It's the name on the label. And I haven't spun this one yet, but I'm going to get to it probably when I turn the camera off. Oh, this was such a great find. I've been collecting a lot of Level 42 in my collection. I was so glad to pull this one out. When I was thumbing through his stuff and saw this sitting in the shelf, I was like, what the hell is this? I have never seen this before, and oh my God. He says, it's a good thing you're getting to this now, because he says a lot of local musicians come in there and they always buy up Level 42, he says. So Level 42 records I'm staying to shop very long, so I was very lucky to get my greedy hands on it before anyone else did. And that concludes the vinyl finds from LA. Actually, no, it doesn't. One more thing. It's not vinyl though, but I want to show this. I pulled this out of Amoeba from Michael Jackson. This is the remastering of his first record, Off the Wall. Remastered CD, and it comes with a DVD of a documentary that was directed by Spike Lee that documented him leaving the Jacksons and becoming a solo artist. That whole transition. A 90-minute documentary from the DVD by Spike Lee. Weird packaging on this. It was all shrink wrapped together, and then this little fold out that goes on top here. If you could hear that. I was wondering what the heck that was. And when you open the top here, it comes with these little pieces of chalk. So that's what that noise, that rattling noise is. It came with pieces of chalk. I thought, okay, fine. I got free chalk here. Okay, great. Obviously, to mimic the title, the cover, the chalk outline of him. So I mean, it has this plastic slip cover. Let's get it closer here and reveal that. And there's the chalk there. And not much of a gatefold. I guess I can use that free chalk and draw something in there. But like I said, it came with a documentary. This is the documentary right here in its sleeve. I watched this last night. Very interesting documentary. I can't wait to watch it again. It does chronicle the whole him leaving, as the Jacksons were leaving Motown, because they wanted to progress as artists, not be such a bubblegum teeny bopper band. They really want to be taken seriously as recording artists and songwriters. And then, of course, Michael Jackson's determination to make music on his own, because he felt he had so many songs inside him that he couldn't wait to get out of them. So it was a really good documentary. I really enjoyed it. I found it really interesting, and loved watching this. For all the Michael Jackson fans out there in the VC, if you don't have this already, get it because it is so good. And that's it. That's my LA vinyl experience. Such a great trip digging there. I mean, I went up and down Sunset Strip, Hollywood Boulevard, Malibu, Santa Monica Pier. I even went to see some movies in some of the great theaters in LA, Man's Chinese Theater, the El Capitan. I had a great time there. I don't know about living there, but it's a fun place to visit. And I really enjoyed myself thoroughly there. I can't wait to go back one soon in the next few months after I can save up more money. Because that, as you can see, that trip took a big bite out of my wallet. But it was worth it because it was a great time. Anyway, that's going to do it. Hope you enjoyed this. And I will see you all in the next video. Take care, everyone.